Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in amma ba'd. The honorable speaker at the 7th session at the 6th International Intensive Course on Islamic Psychology, Professor Subandi from Universitas Gadjah Mada. The honorable all participants who are with us today for this session. Welcome to the 7th session on the 6th International Intensive Course on Islamic Psychology, taught by Universitas Islam Indonesia in collaboration with International Institute of Islamic Thought Indonesia or IIICIP. First, let's give thanks to Allah who has given us His grace so that we can meet on this occasion in good health. Praise, salawat, and salam are bestowed upon our Prophet Muhammad SAW, his family, companions, and those who follow them in goodness until the day of judgment. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start in this session, I would like to tell you all to keep your microphones mute during the presentation to avoid any distractions. And you are welcome to turn on your cameras, but please ensure your background is appropriate for the event. To officially open today's event, let us take a moment together for our focus and intention. Second, let us open this session by saying Bismillah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this session, please allow me, Nur Salama, as your master of ceremony, to briefly describe the session of our class today. We will have Dr. Nita Mulyaningsi as our moderator. Mrs. Nita is lecturer in the Psychology Department at Universitas Islam Indonesia, as well as lecturer in the Faculty of Psychology and Sociocultural Sciences. Dr. Nita completed her bachelor's at Universitas Islam Indonesia and her master and doctorate study at Universitas Gadjah Mada. Ladies and gentlemen, further, I am honored to introduce our speaker in the 7th session today. We will have an insightful session with Professor Subandi from Universitas Gadjah Mada as our speaker. And then at the end of this session, we will have a question for an answer session with our speaker, moderator, and all the participants. To make this opening short, I will let the moderator lead the session. To the moderator, Mrs. Nita, the time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Allahumma shalli wa sallim wa barik ala nabiyyina wa rasulina wa nurina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa zurriyatihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. The honorable speakers, distinguished guests, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First and foremost, I would like to welcome everyone to this prestigious event, the fifth International Intensive Course on Islamic Psychology 2023. Thank you all for making time to join today's session. My name is Nita Mulyaningsi, and I will be in charge of today's session. The fifth IICIP is held by the Department of Psychology in collaboration with the International Institute of Islamic Thought Indonesia, or IIICIP, and the International Association of Muslim Psychologists, IAMP. In this session, we will have outstanding presentations from our speakers who will give us a broader understanding and knowledge regarding Islamic psychology. Before we continue to the presentation, please allow me as the moderator to introduce you to our speakers. And here we are. We have Professor Subandi. Assalamualaikum, Professor Subandi.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah, thank you for having here, Professor
Thank
Subandi.
you very much.
Yes, Professor Subandi is our professor in clinical psychology at the Faculty of Psychology, Universitas Gadjah Mada. He earned his Ph.D. from the Department of Psychiatry and Psychology at the University of Adelaide, Australia in 2006. And his research interests lie in clinical psychology and the psychology of religion, including Islamic psychology. Among his published works are several books and book chapters, such as, and the newest is What We Become, a review of personal transformation at 2023, and the psychology of Quran memorizing students, the role of self-regulation at 2010, psychology of dhikr, phenomenological study of dhikr and trust, the experience of religious transformation, dhikr meditation for spiritual opening, and then a strategy in developing in Islamic psychotherapy and Indonesian Sufism, science of resurgence, and also some others work that I cannot explain here, but there is so much uh, uh, works of Professor Supandi. And without any further ado, I would like to welcome our first speaker, who will deliver a presentation under the topic that is resilience and compassion in Islamic psychology. Professor Subandi, you will have 60 minutes to present from now until maybe like 14 past 10 maybe.
Yeah.
Please, the time is yours.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahilladzi faddalana ala katsirin min ibadil mu'minin. Allahumma sholli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim ajma'in. First of all, I'd like to thank to the committee for inviting me to become one of the speakers in the 6th international course in Islamic psychology. And I do apologize for changing the schedule because on Friday I had meeting with the higher education in Jakarta. So thank you very much for all of you who join this session. Especially, I would like to say hello to Professor Suleiman Darin. How are you, Professor? I saw your name in the chat. So
Thank you very much.
very much for joining this session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I hope this session will we will discuss the topic of resilience, not only according to psychology, but especially according to Islamic psychology. So first, allow me to share my PowerPoint. Yeah. Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, we can.
It's already, yeah. Okay, let me put in. Okay, good, thank you. So our topic today is resilience and compassion in Islamic psychology. Especially, I will focus on resilience, and I will be a little bit discuss about compassion because these two topics are related. This is the outline of my presentation. First, the meaning of resilience, and then second, the concept of resilience according is psychology, the Western psychology, and the concept of resilience in Islamic psychology. And then I will give some illustration of resilience in the history of early Muslim and also in contemporary Muslim history nowadays. So let me begin with the definition of resilient according to some dictionary. First, the Oxford Dictionary, it stated that resilience is the ability of people or things to feel better quickly after something unpleasant, such as shock, injury, etc. And also the ability of any substance, to return to its original shapes after it has been bent, stretched, or pressed. This is refer to more physical things. According to Merriam-Webster dictionary, it relates to strength. Yeah, the resilience relate to strength. This is the ability to withstand or adjust to challenges, and flexibility. It's important to be considered as the resilience concept of resilience. That is the ability of something to return to its original shape. This is the similar definition thing. And it is interesting to see the word some synonym of the resilience, strength, yes, as we said, and then persistence, persistency, tenacity, potency, and perseverance. And then it has power, but sometimes it's stubbornness, yeah, in negative way, but in also a positive way, that we continue to struggle until we achieve our goal. So this is the definition according to WHO and the APA. According to WHO, World Health Organization, resilience is the ability to cope relatively well with difficult situation and personal resources. While according to the American Psychological Association, and this is the most common and widely used today, in which resilience is understood as the process of positive adaptation in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, or significant stress. So we can compare between these two definitions. According to the WHO, the resilience is the ability, the personal ability. But according to APA, it is a process. Yeah. See, this is the process of positive adaptation. So I will discuss that there are two different approaches to understand resilience. First, as a personal ability, and the second as process of adaptation. Currently, the term of resilience is widely used in psychology, medicine, and social sciences. Though, so it is not only psychology who studied or discuss about resilience, but also in medicine, in other social sciences. So both, all of them relate to the impact on a person of at first extreme threatening or stressful condition. So at first condition and the impact of adverse condition into the person. And then the second is the ability of a person or social system to function normally during and after such an impact. So here we can see that the resilience not only as a personal matter, but it is a social issue also. So there is also, we can differentiate between individual resilient and community resilient. So according to Hamijin, term in psychology, the term resilient is translated as stability, plasticity, and elasticity. So we can see from the Webster, Merriam-Webster dictionary that is important that to include the understanding of flexibility as the meaning of resilience. Here, Kamisa said that it is not only flexibility, but stability, plasticity, elasticity, so that people can adapt with the situation. Again, that the term resilient actually is borrowed by from physics, from physics, where it means the ability to solid body to restore their shape after mechanical pressure, and has been used since the beginning of the last century. So this is the understanding of resilience. Also, resilience show one's capacity to survive. Not only flexibility, but how they to survive and develop in adverse condition. So it has to determine one's ability to recover from conditions that suppress to develop. So here we can see not only resilience, but resiliency, but also recovery, the recovery from the situation, the adverse situation. Yeah. According to Revis and Sattel in 2002, resilience is the capacity of a person needed to manage the stress of daily life so that he can respond healthily and productively when dealing with misery. So the response should be healthy and productive. This make in a positive way the response. The ability to cope, so adaptation, coping, is the issue in the understanding of resilience. So according to Riff again, that the ability to cope with life pressures, to be realistic and optimistic. This is another issue that the key word of the resilient and also optimistic. So it has flexibility, coping, optimistic, to have one thought and feeling comfortably. This is again, the resilience is not only individual, but also system. To function, adapt, and cope despite different kind of adversity. The adversity is not only psychological, but also social, political, cultural, and also physical. Physical, for example, like extreme heat, extreme cold, something. So our body need to adapt with this situation. Social and political situation, for example, what happened right now in Palestine. So people have to cope with the situation, very harsh situation. So let me now, this is an interesting illustration how to understand the meaning of resilience. I have a short video that can illustrate how a teacher tried to teach small children, little kid, how to understand about resilience using roly moly doll. Let's see. Here is the short video. Okay, let's see. Here is the
Excuse me, Professor, we can't hear the music or the sound.
What does it look like? That's right. I want you to do everything that you can to knock your toy down. It's the strongest in class. Now, please, I'm going to give Jaron a prop, and he's going to try to knock it off the table. Ready, Jaron? Selfie, what it means to have resilience. Yes, Paige.
Resilience means if you make the toy fall down, you can get up very, very fast.
Very nice.
okay. This is a very interesting short video that illustrates how children understand about the concept of resilience. It's very easy. So let me continue with the presentation. So as I've said before that there are two approaches in psychology to describe about resilience. First is the resilience as personality trait, and second is the resilience as a process. As a personality trait, it has been discussed widely, but then process as a process, resilience as conceptual as continuous, dynamic, and active process of the development of new forces and resources for adaptation and recovery. Again, the key word of adaptation, recovery, but it is important to notice about the word continuous and dynamic and active processes. So when someone learn from the previous experience that they already face any adversity and then they succeed with adaptation, so they can develop the force to uh, face another challenge in the future. So research on resilience in psychology, yeah, as I said before, that at first it's focused on individual trait. And according to British pediatrician and psychoanalyst Bowlby, the concept of resilience is based on attachment theory. Because he argued that the mother gives the infant a sense of security and self-confidence when she fulfills his or her basic need. With this security, they can have a kind of force to adapt, to face the adversity situation. And then process again, the resilience process of recovery or as protective mechanism. So we can see from the picture that there is an umbrella, protective factor, resilience as a protective factor, like an umbrella. which can hinder any negative situation. So resilience can be a process of using internal, external. So it can be internal or external protective factor. And so that they can use it to adapt with the hard situation. Also, here, I also mentioned before that as a physiological phenomena, this was studied in the context of homeostasis and quantum physics. In 1950, this was studied as emotional stress and disease, brain plasticity, here again, plasticity. And then in 1980s, resilience studied as psychoneuroimmunology. So resilience is considered as the psychoneuroimmunology. Yeah. So especially during COVID-19, so people always talk about the immunology. So it's not only neuroimmunology, but psychoneuroimmunology, and it is resilient. So as for psychological penetration was considered in the psychological as a unconscious defense mechanism. So this is mostly by psychoanalysis until 1950s. But since 1960s, resilience is regarded as conscious coping strategies. So from unconsciousness to conscious coping strategy. So became the most popular in 1960 and 1970. The phenomena of resilience became the most popular topic for discussion in scientific circle and was also studied within framework positive psychology, especially. And it is regarded as protective factors and a risk factor. Yeah. I mean that it is protective factor, but if your resilience is low, so it become a risk factor. Also, resilience became a major theoretical and research topic after the public of Manson work in 1980, devoted to studying children whose mothers suffer from schizophrenia. My research focus actually about the people who suffer from schizophrenia and their families. And I also found that family who live with patient with schizophrenia, they have to develop the resilience. Since beginning 1990, focus research has shifted from identifying protective factor and to understanding the process to which individuals are able to overcome difficulties. So it's like, yes, the process, complex process. Again, this is the factors which influence resilience. As I said, mentioned before, it is optimism, positive thinking, interpersonal relationship, confidence to build relationship to others, self-confidence, self-esteem, and social support. Social support is very important to people developing resilience, because in many research, it was found that social support is very important factor to influence the resilience. And also religion and spirituality is very important factor. So I will discuss some of these factors, not all. Optimism especially is a key element for resilience. Resilient individuals are more likely to maintain positive outlook, believing in their ability to overcome difficulties. Also, religion and spirituality. Yeah. spirituality, reduce stress, and understanding of religion has a positive effect on resilience. According to Manning, that faith plays an important role in improving well-being in one's life by giving positive meaning to various painful events. Even this the mindset, positive mindset. So it is important for people to reframe the adverse experience in a more positive way. So especially by using the faith, the religion. Yeah. According to Taufik, the research found that participants who believe that the accident. So Taufik did a research with the participant people who had a physical accident and had physical limitation. So Taufik found that participants who believe that the accident and physical limitation were part of the God's destiny. Yeah, it's very important. God understanding as God's destiny, experience resilience faster than participants who did not believe it. In addition, support from the family has a major contribution. As I said before, that the social support, this is family support, is a very important factor in developing resilient capabilities. And it should be taken into account about the culture and resilience. Yeah, when we discuss resilience, culture is a very important aspect to be considered because resilience is sensitive to complex multidimensional interaction depending on the context. Yeah. This is my research focus is resilient and recovery of psychotic patient in Java. And this is my article published in Cultural Medicine and Psychiatry in 2015 maybe, yeah. So the title is Bangkit, the process of recovery from first episode psychosis in Java. I intentionally use the word bangkit in Bahasa Indonesia, in Indonesian, because we cannot directly translate into English. So this is the very special word used by participant to describe about the process of recovery, the process of getting resilient, and then to recovery from psychosis in Java. Yeah. So this is my study, but recovery psychosis in Java. Yeah. Resiliency. So bangkit can be used to describe the resiliency and recovery processes. So what is bangkit in Bahasa Indonesia? So I found a very important term in my research that become a central theme to encapsulate in one participant. Because one participant said that I have to bangkit. Yeah. In English, it can be translated into rise up or be
Recording in
revived. But when we use the word, for example, to revive, yeah, it's revive. It has a different context. Yeah. So in Bahasa Indonesia, the word bangkit is the core idea of recovery, since it underpins and embraces the entire process of resilience and recovery. Yeah. Because and then bangkit carries meaning of such motivational force. So it is the motivational force that is very important for the participant to become resilient and to achieve recovery. It has the transformative effect, yeah, on individual faced with illness and seeking to recover. See, yeah. The meaning of bangkit, the first meaning of bangkit is awareness. Awareness or gaining insight. Yeah. Most participants said that when they were ill, they were not aware or half aware and half not. But an awareness of the past, yeah, also so an awareness, not only awareness of the situation uh, at the moment, but awareness of the past, in which participants were able to examine their life prior to the illness. So this is the process of how they develop resilient, because they examine their life prior to the illness and use this experience to develop resilience and then to achieve recovery. Not only awareness about the past, but also about the future, yeah, where participants look at the future life after the illness. For example, like in one participant said that this awareness sparked his motivation to struggle, to achieve recovery, not only for himself, but more importantly for the future of his children. And then the second meaning of bangkit is active life. Yeah, resilience also is kind of active, should be active. Yeah, refer to change from a passive to a much more active disposition. Most participants suggest that passivity was associated with illness, whereas activity was associated with recovery, resilience and recovery. So bangkit means they have the idea of revitalizing oneself and coming alive again after the disaster. This is schizophrenia can be regarded as a psychological disaster. And again, bangkit convey the meaning of motivation to change. Motivation is force energy. So it is a very powerful metaphor for motivating participants to become resilient and to achieve recovery. And then also bangkit motivated in reconstructing his sense of self, yeah. And not only in individual level, but also in community level. So bangkit has the idea of a powerful set of cultural meanings that exerted a transformative effect. So it is a very important to consider the cultural meaning, cultural context of the resilience. Yeah, okay. So I think I should go. Let's see. This is, as I said before, that it is not only for an individual level. The term bangkit is used widely in Indonesia, especially after disaster. Here, yeah, Aceh bangkit. Yeah, this is used as a word that motivate people to become resilient and recovery from the disaster after tsunami. Not only Aceh, but also Aceh was in 2004 Aceh tsunami. So and then in 2018 Lombok earthquake this year. So people use again the word bangkit and kuat. Kuat means strength. You see, yeah, to strength, resilient and strength. Yeah, in a community level. Yeah. So this is how beautiful is the Lombok. Yeah, how beautiful Lombok is, because they want to become tourist destination as before. And again, in 2000 in Palu, in different part of Indonesia, in Sulawesi, yeah, earthquake and liquefaction. So people use the term bangkit. Bangkit. So bangkit really mean resilient, not only resilient, but also move forward to achieve higher resilience. So this is some of the illustration. Maybe I will show you later after all of the presentation. Yeah, resilient and earthquake after tsunami. So let's now begin by discussing Islamic concept of resilience. The concept of resilience has deep roots going back at least to 10th century when Arabic scholars suggested strategy to cope with life adversity. But unfortunately, up to now, I could not identify whose scholar discussed specifically with the about resilient. Yeah. See, here maybe Professor Suleiman Deren could give us idea, maybe from the classical Islamic scholar who discuss about the resilience. So this is according to Rahman, that is the definition of resilient in Islam is not so much different from the definition from psychology, from Western psychology. Its capacity of person to endure and adapt in the face of challenging circumstances like disasters, difficulties, while maintaining patience and surrendering to God. Here, another important key word, patient, which has not appear in Western psychology concept of resilient, and also surrendering to God. This is really very unique to Islamic concept. Can be and based on the Quran, yeah, Al-Baqarah, yeah. And we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger and a loss of wealth and leaf and fruit, but give good tidings to the patient who, when disaster strike them, and then say, indeed, we belongs to Allah, and indeed, to Him we will return. Al-Baqarah, verse 155 and 156. It's very clear. The idea of resilience based on Islamic religion, because the belief, the faith, yeah. Islam offers a unique perspective, yeah, because it's trust in Allah, trust in God, patience, yeah, and perseverance, yeah. And in another Quran ayat in the Quran, and seek help through patience and prayer. Yeah, patience again. And that is difficult except for the humbly submissive to Allah. So patience and prayer. Yeah, Muslims are encouraged to turn to Allah to seek guidance and support. This is again the idea of support. So previously we discussed about social support, family support. This is, we can see this is kind of like a spiritual support, spiritual support. Yeah. So very important in the developing of resilient processes. So aspect of resilience in Islam, there is some similarity, but there's some differences. Yeah, it is patience, gratitude, tawakal, optimism, emotion regulation, impulse control, empathy and forgiving, and also self-efficacy. Yeah. Optimism, yeah, yeah. Also in Western psychology, also discuss about the aspect of resilience as an optimism. Yeah. So optimism is very important aspect. Yeah. Optimistic individual remain resilient in the face of adversity and consistently interpret failure in a positive and a constructive manner. This is again positive mindset. Interpretation. Interpretation is very important psychologically, because if someone interpreted the adversity as, for example, their failure, so it will become destructive to their lives. Yeah. But if we interpret in a positive way, especially using religious framework, the adversity become very positive. Optimistic person can perceive the event that occur to them as favorable progression. Favorable. Yeah. So this is the Surah Al-Insyirah or Asar. Yeah. In Indonesia, we use the Al-Insyirah. First 5 and 6. Yeah. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Fa inna ma'al usri yusra. Inna ma'al usri yusra. For indeed, with hardship will be ease. Indeed, with hardship will be ease. Yeah. So Allah emphasize again and again. Yeah. Yeah. Repeat almost the same verse. Yeah. How hardship will followed by ease, hardship will follow by ease. So people should be optimistic. And especially in the story of Joseph, yeah, Nabi Yusuf, yeah, this refers aspirational well-being, yeah. Prophet Jacob did not despair or abandon his effort in the face of challenging condition. So we know from the story the Prophet Jacob and the Prophet Yusuf, where the Prophet Yusuf, some of the his brothers tried to kill him, and he became a slave. Yeah, but Prophet Jacob did not despair. This to be optimistic. So that's why when it's very important, faith, optimism, trust in Allah, yeah, to be tranquility in conquering adversity. So this is the first Quran, Surah Yusuf, verse 87. Oh, my son, do not enter from one gate, but enter from different gate. And I cannot avail you again. The decision is only for Allah. Upon him I have relied, and upon him let those who would rely. So with this faith, a strong faith, he become resilient. The second aspect of resilient according to Islamic perspective is the sober, patient. Yeah, patient. So etymologically, patience come from Arabic was sabar. In Indonesia, we call sabar, yeah, which means to hold and restrain. Patient means refraining from anything that is not liked, because we expect God willingness, as God says in the Quran, Surah Al-Imran. Patient, very important. Sabar or patience is a significant aspect of resilience in Islam. We cannot find it in Western psychology concept. So by practicing patience in the face of adversity, individual can endure life trial with strength and grace. Again, this is the idea of strength. You know, to make people strength, you have to become, you have to be patient, trusting in God. Yeah. Sober, persistent, patient, and endurance. The Quran. Allah said, indeed, Allah is with the patient. So this first highlight important of patience and perseverance in achieving success and overcoming challenges. Patient again, yeah. Teaching consistently promote the cultivation of patience and fortitude as means of developing resilience in the face of challenge. Yeah. Yeah. Islam instructs on the notion of test and wisdom and highlighting the inherent limitation of individual in facing the trial as meant to cultivate the strength and potential inside them. Not only sober patient, but also gratitude. So I think sober gratitude has been discussed widely by Islamic scholar like Ghazali. Yeah, I learned from Professor Sulaiman Derain when I visited Marmara University that many different kind of positive aspect, yeah, like gratitude and optimism, sober, something as concept in Islamic psychology. And we can use it in the concept to describe the concept of resilient, positive aspect of their life and grateful, whatever happened. So because whoever grateful is grateful for the benefit of himself, and whoever denies, then indeed Allah is free of need and praiseworthy. So this verse highlights the importance of gratitude and how it can promote resilient and positive mindset. Resilient also important learning from the past. Yeah. This is discussed in my paper that patient or maybe the family of the patient or psychotic patient can examine their previous life before illness as the source to become resilient. So again, here we can see learning from the past is important. From the same hole. According to the Prophet Muhammad, a believer is not stung twice from the same hole. Yeah. So this highlight that importance of learning from the past mistake, yeah, and taking steps to avoid repeating them in the future. Resilient as a process. Again, yeah, resilient as a process. We can learn from our previous experience. This is again resilient as community support. Yeah. Not only family support, yeah, community, spiritual support, community support. Here also very important, community. We are as a Ummah and Muslim community has to support each other, to especially during the adverse situation. Yeah. Here, Muslim encouraged to support one another during time difficulty. Yeah. In the Quran, Surah 3 and ayat 103, Allah said, and hold firmly to the rope of Allah altogether and not become divided. And remember the favor of Allah upon you. Yeah, Al-Ayah. So this first highlight the importance of unity and solidarity in Islam and how it can promote resilience during time of difficulties. Not only that, it's very important in the aspect of resilience according to Islam that not only in resilience is not only in attitude and also not only conceptual, but in it has aspect of real action. Yeah, taking practical step to address challenge and overcome adversity. Muslims are encouraged to work hard and strive to improve their situation while also placing trust in Allah. So it's very important to take real action, yeah, to take action, to find solution. Yeah. Because according to the Quran, Allah said, indeed, Allah will not change the condition of people until they change what in themselves. So again, this first emphasized the importance of taking action to improve one's situation while also recognizing the power of Allah. Spiritual aspect, as I said before, yeah, saying Muslim, again, I think now it is important also that resilience not only bouncing back to the normal condition, to the condition before the disaster, but it become a potential for uh, personal growth. Yeah. It's very important. In Islam, in the potential for personal growth and development during time of difficulties. Yeah. To use challenges and adversities as opportunity. So challenge and problem is not seen as problematic, but is seen as opportunity to develop their character and strengthen their faith. It is important. Growth, yeah. Yeah, this verse, yeah, this is Quran, Surah 929, ayat 2 and 3, during time difficulty. Resilient and perseverance, yeah. Perseverance, enabling individual to persist in their effort, yeah. Their effort, persistent, perseverance. If someone want to achieve a certain goal, they have to become resilient, to become sober, yeah, even with considerable obstacle. Tawakal, reliant on, which is closely related to taqwa. So resilience is very different than being numb. Resilient means you experience, you feel, you fail, you hurt, you fall, but you keep going. Yeah. This is another study about the relationship between resilience and compassion. Yeah. Yes, compassion is, according to Islamic perspective, that resilience is also related to compassion. Yeah. The effect of psychology, resilience, healthcare professional. Yeah, compassion is in Western psychology also mentioned that it is important that compassion is defined as empathic love. Yeah. An attitude that encompasses behavior, cognition, emotion, aiming to support individual in their difficult time. So with this compassion, we can provide support for individual in their difficult time and when they are in need. So compassion has two meaning. First, compassion to the self, and then compassion to others. Yeah. So compassion is an exception of social emotional value, instrumental ameliorating distress, everybody, fostering their overall well-being and well. So by compassion is to look beyond your own pain, to see the pain of others. Compassion is very important, greatly stressed, in which you are often repeated as rahmah, ihsan, adl, and hikmah. Yeah. Rahma, I think this is, we already have a lot of issue, a lot of discussion about it. Sympathy for the weaker section, self-compassion, actually, very important. So there is growing evidence that self-compassion is an inner resource that promotes resilience. Self-compassion aspect of mindfulness, self-kindness, and common humanity facilitate both short-term and long-term adaptation processes. So building resilience is another critical aspect, self-compassion. By cultivating resilience through faith, reflection, and seeking support from the community, individual develop steadfast inner core that help them withstand absurdity. Yeah, self-compassion. So now let's see. This is I will later, yeah, maybe in 5 or 10 minutes, I will show you the illustration of the resilience of early Muslim. Yeah, and then this is a movie, as usually the scene of Uhud War. Yeah, the Uhud War. So in the first movie, we will see how Bilal resilient while receiving punishment from Umayyah, his landlord. Some of the Sahabat declared Islam and were thrown with stone by people in Mecca. And then the help of Allah then came Hamzah. So in the other scene, movie, the Uhud War, yeah, uh, where Muslim defeated and Hamzah died. Yeah, the story of Hind eating the liver of Hamzah. Some people say that this is questionable. Yeah, but she very at first the very difficult time at that for Muslim at that time, but they can still resilient and move forward again. And then also in this situation, current situation in Palestine, yeah, despite associated Palestinians are inspiring the world as they continue to show faith and resilience. So we can see a real life resilience in Palestine right now. So I will. So people said it's community resilient, but also sometimes people call that collective resilient, and it has special term for resilient concept among Palestinians, which is called sumud. Sumud is Palestinian idea that is interwoven with idea of personal and collective resilience and steadfastness. So it is like a bangkit in bahasa Indonesia, yeah, to the concept, cultural concept of sumud. Yeah. The sumud is also a cross-political concept and refer to ways of surviving in the context of oppression, chronic adversity, lack of resources, and limited infrastructure. So by using sumud, the Palestinian can survive. Yeah, linked to surrounding cultural context. It's very interesting. Palestine situation in Palestine. So this is we will see some of the short video, and also interesting that one of the short video mentioned about the 8 secrets of Palestinian resilience. Yeah, we will see that. So according to this video, the 8 secrets of resilience among Palestinians, the first is yakin, certainty, deep faith, and trust in Allah. I'm sorry for Obodia, subversions to Allah based on certainty in Him. Taslim, submission to and complete acceptance of Allah's decree, destiny. Yeah. Tawakkul, reliance upon God. Taqwa, piety and devotion toward Allah. Rida, satisfaction and contentment to Allah decree and different life events. Mahabbah, yeah, this is mahabbah to Allah, love to Allah and His creation. And also ummah, Muslim community. We are we are part of the Muslim community in the world that we should also give support to people in the Palestine. Also, there will be some short video about the community resilience among Rohingyas. And this is the references. So this is all of my presentation. Let me now show you some of the video which shows many different the resilient in many different contexts. Yeah. Let's see, where is it? Hopefully this one. Yeah, this one. Okay. We already saw this video. And first, let's see. I will show you the resilience among early Muslims. This is the movie with the title "The Message." Yeah, the message. The message, full movie, English subtitle. This
Do it a third time.
describe show about the resilience
When the
of
second girl was
one of
when my father was putting sand over her.
this is the mother of
She took hold of
Amr,
his
one of the
finger
Sahaba.
the way a baby does. He told my mother afterwards that it was a minute before the tender little grip eased and he dared take away his hand. When I was born, my
Say,
So
he
this
can
is
speak. Well, so can you. So now you speak up, young man. What does Muhammad say?
this is one of the Sahaba, young people, Amr, and all of these people, Quraysh, the Abu Sufyan, Umayyah, and Hind. Yeah.
They are God's words, not his.
Which gods? What words? A speaking God? Your Muhammad speaks only to himself.
When God reveals his message to Muhammad, he remembers every word. Then he tells it to those who can write. This is the Quran.
Muhammad has starved himself into dreams. He hides under a blanket with his eyes shut.
His eyes are shut, but his heart is open.
You, kick him for his cleverness.
There is no purpose in that. Doesn't Muhammad realize we live by giving housing to the gods? We own the Kaaba. Every year, the tribes of Arabia come here to Mecca to pray and to buy from us. Now, were we to replace 300 gods with just one, whom we cannot even see, who is supposed to be in Taif and Medina, here in my house, in Jerusalem, on the moon? Where would Mecca be then? The gods are both our worship and our revenue.
You cannot buy and sell God.
Young man, you are close to the whip.
Come on. Be sensible, boy.
I have a question. Muhammad teaches you a slave is equal to his master. Is Black Bilal, whom I paid money for, equal to me?
Yes. Muhammad says, before God, all men are as equal as the teeth of a comb.
Oh, this is a very pleasant idea to slaves and beggars. It gives them pretensions.
Bilal. Teach this man the difference between a lord of Mecca and a slave. Take that whip. Lash his face to teach his mouth a lesson.
So actually at that time, Bilal already embraced Islam. So Bilal and Amr has known each other.
Whip him! Whip him! Whip him!
Free them. Kill you.
See what anarchy they bring. They've even infected our slaves. If you're human enough to have gods, remember, they are the gods of your owner. I bought your humanity, Bilal, when I bought you. You will be corrected. Who's stronger now? Your master or this one god of yours? God. There's only one God. Bring the stones. One God.
Have you finished with him?
There's only one God.
You could swear the slave was preaching.
Lord Umaya!
Ubak will pay 100 dinar for this slave.
Wait now. It's against our social order to sell a slave during his correction.
The offer is to Lord Umaya. 200.
If the price of slaves is raised, we shall have to bathe ourselves next year.
He's no use to me anymore. Kill him out.
Okay, so you can see from this video clip that how Bilal becomes so strong in the very difficult situation like this. And also after this situation, there is some of Muslim was also punished, yeah. Torture. They torture Amr and their family, the father.
Stretch her. Who is your God? Answer me. Say it. Say Hubal is your God. Say it.
There's only one God. Muhammad is the messenger of God.
So this is another another difficult situation at that time for early Muslim. And then we can see from the history that the Prophet Muhammad took real action by hijrah, traveling to Medina, so that from then from the Medina they can develop a strong ummah. But and then in other situation, oh sorry,
Excuse me, Professor, maybe 5 minutes left.
yeah, 5 minutes. Let's see. Now let me show you the current situation in the Palestine. So we can compare the difficulties in for early Muslim and in Rohingya.
أتينا إلا بعدين حطونا بعدين إجا صاحب بابا خدنا بالطيارة على الشتاء.
Individual resilience
كنا في
of
المستشفى
a
فقط
girl
أمي وأبويا وأخويا الوحيد وأختين خوات. قعدنا ورحنا عند رصيدة وقعدنا بعدين رحنا عند عمتي وجينا هون على الجنين. كان في يهود من دول الكويت ووصلت كان في ناس كثير وكانت حالة زحمة كثير وأنخبط في رجله ويصير إشي هيك وأنا عيط. بعدين وصلنا عند خيرات وتمنا وركبنا الباص ورحنا تمنا في المنصورات بس رحنا قرانينهم كثير.
What is the secret of the Palestinian, which is also called sumud? Yeah.
لا مواد تموينية متوفر ولا طحين ولا دقيق ولا بنزين ولا غاز، كيف قدروا يدبروا حياة؟ قلنا له الله موجود، هو الرزاق. أشهد أن
دايما لابسين ملابس الصلاة وجاهزين، متوقعين إنه ننقصف بأي لحظة، نجتمع كلنا بغرفة واحدة عشان لو متنا نموت مع بعض. بنقضي وقتنا وإحنا نقرأ قرآن، ندعي رب العالمين إنه يفرجها علينا. إحنا النصر بالنسبة لنا مش احتمال، لأنه ربنا واعدنا بهذا الشيء. ويمكن هذا اللي بخلينا أقوياء، مش خايفين من الموت، لأنه الموت عندنا يعني استشهاد، الشهيد بالجنة بإذن الله.
أنا أقدر إنه أهل يا الله ونعم الوكيل.
نعم. وأولا وأخيرا، وبعد هيك زي ما قلنا الجهد اللي بيسويه الإنسان.
الحمد لله على كل حال، وإن شاء الله ربنا يعينني أكون أخت وأم وأب وطفل لأخواتي وأفرح فيهم إن شاء الله تعالى.
يا الله ونعم الوكيل، أكثر من حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل، والله الفرج قريب بإذن الله تعالى. والله يا رب كله خير سيدنا العباد وتقوى وعزيمة. אחד אומר לי באנגלית, אל תדאגי, אני מוסלמי, אנחנו לא נפגע בכם. Momento
إنه الله سخار بالبحر مطر.
انا بعجوبك طلعت بعجوب والله طلعت يا اخي والله بعجوب يا رب العالمين الحمد لله يا رب لا حول ولا قوه الا بالله الله اكبر كبيرا والحمد لله كثيرا يا رب لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك رب عظيم سبحانك يا رب.
أنا بالقدرة.
إسلامنا العظيم وبالأخلاق الأنبياء. لا إله إلا الله.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, that's all that I can share with you.
Yes, thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you,
Oh, sorry,
Professor.
sorry. Maybe there is still video. Oh, sorry. The video is still on.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you, Professor,
you.
for giving us very insightful and helpful knowledge. And I have not some idea about the presentation, but there's two perspectives, namely personality traits and the process of using internal and external resource to adapt to the crisis. And in Islamic perspective, there is some important factors of resilience in Islam, which is optimism, patience, gratitude, community support, compassion, and also sumut in the concept among it is Palestinian resilience. And we reach the question and answer question. We welcome all participants who want to discuss more about the topic with our speakers. Please raise your hand and share your question with us. And there's some question in the chat room, Professor. And I will straight to the question at the chat room. The first from Lisa Anggraini Amir. She asked about, as far as resilience is concerned, how do we preserve the energy to sustain, nurture, rejuvenate, replenish our remaining fighting spirit? Should we ever run out or deplete or deficit of optimism and exhaust our self-compassion? Maybe that's the first question, please.
Let's see. So this is from Lisa Anggraini.
Yes, Lisa Anggraini Amir.
Saying to me, as far as this is considered, how do we preserve the energy to sustain, nurture, rejuvenate, replenish our remaining fighting spirit? Yeah. So I think we can preserve the energy of resilience and use it to move forward. Yeah. First, by strengthen our faith to Allah. Yeah, this is the spiritual support. This is very important. And then the second is very important also to have a family support and also community support. Yeah, as we can see from the video, that community support is very important to make us become resilient. So sometimes our energy goes up and down. Yeah. So during when our energy, our motivation go down, and then someone can tell us. Yeah. So this is in the social support, like in the verses Al-Asr. Wal asri innal insana lafi khusrin illal ladzina amanu wa amilus solihati wa tawasaw bil haq wa tawasaw bis sabr. So this is very important verses to for Muslim to give advice to another Muslim to become sober, because we can. This is like counseling, yeah, very important. The importance of Islamic counseling, yeah, for people who suffer from disaster, something like that, and then we can share the emotional burden, and the counselor can give support to make it to strengthen not only their iman and their psychological resilient. Yeah. Yeah, and then to fighting spirit, should we ever round out the deficit of optimism? Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, as I said, that our energy goes up and down, So we need someone else. Yeah, we need someone, or we can do more spiritual discipline, like fasting, practicing night prayer. Yes, but fasting, especially the sunnah, the Friday, Monday and Thursday, and the fasting. So fasting is make people become sober. Yeah, Allah said that use the sober and solar as your helper. So this is very important, the spiritual support and also community and social support, so that we become stronger and stronger again. Thank you. I hope this answered your question.
Okay, Sister Lisa, that is the answer from the Professor Subandi. So there's we need to enhance our faith from as an internal mechanism to gain spiritual support by doing some disciplines, spiritual discipline, and we need also to gain our support from the external. And then we have another question, maybe like from
Assalamualaikum.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Professor and Sister Nina, for that for elaborating for that fresh revelation. Professor, humbled and honored to meet you online. I haven't had the chance to talk to you in person, but maybe in Jogja in October in the summit, we will reconvene. All righty.
Inshallah.
Thank you so much for the wise words to live by. All right. I'm sorry. Apologies in advance for not being properly decent visually. So I'll catch you later. Thank you. Sister Nita, please proceed.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. You're welcome. Most welcome. Assalamualaikum.
For Bibi Jan to ask directly.
Yes, Assalamualaikum.
First of all, I would like to congratulate and express my deepest appreciation for the excellent presentation. MashaAllah, subhanallah. Professor Subandi, it was a very good one, alhamdulillah. Um, I um, I share because I'm a school teacher and I use a school council in Singapore. So I've been in this business for more than 50 years. So my question is actually preparing ourselves for the future. So there's a spectrum of Muslim community globally. I'm also a volunteer with ruhk.com. We actually provide free counseling globally for those who are affected by the genocide in Palestine. So despite the highly publicized genocide in Palestine, some Muslims are still oblivious to the reality of their lives and the state of the ummah today. It is a concern to me because I think I like the idea of having this ummah centric. We have to be ummah centric to help each other, and this is part of Islamic value. We are the importance of Islamic brotherhood and so on. Now, my question is, how do we enhance the awareness? I mean, the awareness is there, but how do we enhance the awareness and the inculcation of all these universal Islamic value and virtues that you have been talking for the past more than almost 2 hours? The concept of the Palestine Sumun or the Bangkit in Indonesia to prepare, especially of our younger generations, from the millennials onward to the Gen Z to the Alpha in a very impactful way. I mean, I came from the baby boomer generation in the 1950s. So we went through different value, different culture, different context. And I find that the younger one now who are more exposed to it, who have a lot of indulgence and they're more exposed to different luxurious in life. So I think we have to be strategically, Muslim scholars, Muslim practitioners have to strategically think what can we do to inculcate these values, because I think ahead of us, if we are living in a VUCA world, we are living in a VUCA stand for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. We are living in a post-pandemic uncertain world. We are living in the AI again disruptive world. So how do we prepare our younger one, especially our Muslim ummah, the younger Muslim ummah, in order for us to build not just at the micro level in Sanul Kamil, but even at the collective level, an ummah that is strong enough to be able to function. Wallahu a'lam. Thank you very much, my professor. I'm doing it at my small scale in Singapore, but I think there are a lot of things we can do with the big, great ideas from scholars like yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bibi Chan. Please, Professor Subandi.
Thank you very much. The comment, Bibi Chan. It is also a task for us to think that this is a very difficult time for us as a Muslim because we have the situation, especially with the technology, advanced technology. Our young generation is more indulged by the digital everything, that everything become easy to them. So I also as the baby boomer generation, it's very different from the Gen Z right now. So I think the first thing that we should do is that from the early time, we should introduce our children to different kind of values, not only the modern and the advanced technology civilization, the Western civilization, but also, for example, like practicing ask the children to start from beginning to practice fasting, for example. Not only, especially fasting during the Ramadan, but also fasting in the Sunnah from the fasting on Monday and Thursday and Daud, the fasting, Daud and other fasting. So the spiritual discipline, I think that is we can introduce our children that we should have a real strong Islamic value. But maybe this is also very, very difficult. But if we, as our ummah together, develop a alternative civilization, I think that is very important, not only as an individual, also very important. For example, like we develop Islamic psychology right now, that we have a different concept, understanding of resilience, different concept of parenting, different concept of education. So by developing all of these the situation, I think the children will be they have alternative. That's not only the technology will make people easy to live, but also that they have to strive. For example, if you want something, they have to struggle to achieve that. So this is, I think, the task is not only for us, but also for the whole ummah to develop our ummah, to develop our civilization, Islamic civilization, so that they can enhance all of the individual in the Islamic world to focus on our values. Yeah, not only the values of, and I will emphasize the importance of the spiritual discipline. Yeah, because the spiritual discipline make people become stronger. Yeah, stronger. Whatever the situation, environment. This is like, for example, fish. Yeah, we know that fish in the ocean is not salty, although the situation is salty water. Yeah, but the fish is not salty because they live. So this metaphor, I think, is very important. Although our situation in our environment is different and not support for our value, but we ourselves can develop the to make our soul life. Yeah, so it's like fish in the ocean, but still they still do not salty. So hopefully I can. This is very difficult for us, but we still hope this. We have to be optimistic. Yeah, to be optimistic as a resilient that this situation we can have much more better in the future. Thank you.
Okay, I catch your answer, and maybe I can help to give the conclusion that living value and living a discipline, a spiritual discipline, is important to raise our resilience like that. Okay, thank you. And there's another question from Sister Rugaya. Sister Rugaya, maybe you would like to ask directly, or maybe I should read it. Okay, maybe I can read about your question. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, what insightful presentation. Jazakallah khair, Dr. Subandi. Can you please comment on the role of mindfulness in the development of resilience? Please, Professor Subandi.
Yeah, thank you very much. Surabaya. As I said before, that the mindfulness is very important. Mindfulness means that you are aware everything you are doing. Yeah. You are aware what you are talking. You are aware what you are eating. You are aware with what you are reading. Everything. So it is very important by having this experience of the moment, the very moment, uh, in psychology, usually we call here and now. Here now, we are aware. I'm sitting, drinking, walking. Yeah. So with this awareness, it make us become the observant of ourselves. Yeah. So this is the other. This is according to Sufism. There are lower self and the higher self. So we develop the higher self so we can observe the lower self, what happened in the lower self. Yeah. So by doing this, so what, for example, when you have at first situation, difficult situation, and then you are aware, this is right now I'm having a problem. Right now I have this adverse situation, a difficult situation. So you, when you have this kind of awareness, you are not become immersed in the problem, but you can become aware of the problem and trying to find the solution, yeah, to real action, and maybe trying to develop a positive mindset, positive framework, positive interpretation. So by the mindful is very important, yeah. Mindfulness, yeah. That's why right now people in the West practicing a lot of mindfulness meditation. We are in Islam. We have also practice how to practice mindfulness. How to practice mindfulness, like by practicing remember to Allah, dhikr. Yeah, by practicing dhikr, and then we become mindful, and with the mindfulness, we become aware of ourselves and make a distance between us, between me and the problem. Yeah. So we do not immerse in the problem, but we spirit. This is the problem. This is me. And then we can also get the support, spiritual support, and social support. So by having mindfulness, we not become stressful. We become have a clear mind how to solve the problem. So it is very important, I think. Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you.
Okay, so it's important to do to practice the mindfulness, because mindfulness can help us to get the higher awareness. So from the higher awareness, we can get the higher self, and we can raise another perspective on the problem. So we have the problem solving, and also have another perspective to give ourselves optimism, optimism value, maybe like that. Thank you, Professor Subandi. And then I will read about a question from Rashida Swaliha. There's question. Okay. May you please explain to us how to combat compassion fatigue whilst working with Muslim clients on a daily basis?
Yeah, yeah, we should recognize that when we helping other people, especially helping our client, helping other both Muslim or non-Muslim, as a psychologist, as clinician, as counselor, sometimes become burnt out. Yeah, become ourselves. So it is very important to separate between ourselves and our profession. So, like our profession, so we should limit the professional time and the privacy time. Yeah. So we should not bring the problem in the counseling room into our house. So we should separate between our privacy life and the professional life. So, and this is one of the strategy to combat the fatigue, yeah, compassion fatigue. Yeah, you can see that. And another thing that, of course, you need to have first physically, we need to have a strong physical. We need to have a good nutrition, yeah, to make you healthy. Yeah, of course, our psychological situation is also depend on our physical situation. So it's very important to make you healthy, to have a good rest, and also to have exercise and recreation. Yeah, recreation to make you fresh again. And also, again, a spiritual recreation. Yeah, what we call it like a spiritual recreation. For example, like become practicing night prayer. You get up at 2 or 3 in the morning, and then you pray to God, and then you can express your burden to Allah. That is another strategy. So both physical, psychological, and social support. This is very important to combat the burnout of a counselor, especially so the fatigue, compassion fatigue, something like that. Hopefully, but it is also very important to mention that this is not only once you do it not only once or twice, but continuously every day. Yeah, yeah, you do practice this one, so you can have a more refreshing idea, refreshing mind, and then to help others. So sometimes we also need help ourselves. So do not feel that you are strong woman, strong man. Yeah, you don't need help. You help other, but yourself also need help from other. That's why we are as a ummah to help each other. Watawasaw bil haq, watawasaw bis sabr. Thank you.
Okay, it's like our sister Rashida Swaliha would like to say something to Professor Subandi. Okay.
Jazakallah khairan, Professor. That was a very beautiful reply, and it has cleared a lot of doubts. Jazakallah khairan.
Okay, thank you, Sister Rashida. And there is so much question in the chat room, actually, Professor. I would like to share a question from Vita Jafar. May I ask you talked about resilience in facing the munafikin? In nowadays, I think terms like narcissist are related to munafikin, zolim. It's more than sober, but the boundaries also built, etc. I am really wish to listen to your thought. Okay, maybe we can hear the answer from Professor Subandi.
Yeah, thank you for the question. But I don't really understand the question. But as far as I understand, that the munafikin, dolim, is more than sober.
Maybe Sister Vita Jafar can explain more about the question. Sister Vita Jafar. Okay.
Okay. So maybe as far as I understand that how to deal with munafikun.
Yes.
Munafikun is the people who have two faces. One is the iman and one is the talim. Yeah. So we since in the beginning of in the history of early Muslim, the munafikin is very difficult to deal with, because that's why in the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah describe about the munafikin a lot more than description of Muslim iman, yeah, and also between Muslim and non-Muslim, and munafikin is in between. So this need to be clear whether this is real munafikun or it is our perception. So I don't understand because this is very.
Yes, Profesor. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Rizwan.
Iya, iya dok, Profesor. Jadi, aduh pengen pakai bahasa Inggris. Actually, I'm Indonesian.
You can speak in bahasa Indonesia.
Indonesia boleh, Profesornya. Jadi belakangan ini kan berkembang narcissistic personality itu lagi ngetren banget ya, Profesor. Jadi maaf di belakang ada suara anak-anak aku. Masih kedengeran nggak suaranya ya?
Fine, that's okay.
Masih jelas, Sister.
Nggak apa-apa. Oke, baik. Jadi memang benar-benar real munafikin ya, Profesor. Jadi memang berbeda depan belakang gitu. Nah, terus memang kan sepertinya di Islam ini ya, Prof. Jadi kalau munafikin tuh memang kita akhirnya nggak terlalu baik gitu ke dia, seperti itu ya. Mungkin mudah-mudahan Prof sampai ya maksud aku, karena belakangan kan kalau yang narcissistic itu orang lebih kayak boundaries, jadi kita bener-bener udah nggak usah dipeduliin misalnya gitu. Sementara mungkin beliau tuh orang tua kita atau misalnya orang ini kita seperti itu loh, hanya ingin mendengarkan pendapat Profesor. Dan memang benar-benar real munafikin yang benar-benar kita bisa udah dijelekkan di depannya, dan emang benar-benar udah ketahuan. Dan kalau memang dibawa ke narcissistic personality disorder, memang benar-benar dia tuh sakit, memang ada riwayat juga, memang dia bisa berwajah banyak sekali di depan kita, bisa beda sini beda sana beda, dan bisa menyakiti, bahkan malah arahnya mungkin orang yang nggak tahu memberi batasan pada dirinya, mereka bisa depresi saat menghadapi orang seperti ini gitu loh, Prof. Jadi kayak justru ketertarikan saya ini kayak justru kita harus membela orang yang di sudut sebelah kirinya nih, malah nanti mereka yang kena depresi saat ya nggak sih Prof, karena ya seperti itu, karena sangat menyakitkan sekali, apalagi kalau saat kita tidak boundaries, kita jadi self esteem kita terjatuh. Padahal mungkin di Islam kesannya seakan-akan kita jangan tinggalkan misalnya gitu. Nah, itu batasannya seperti apa? Pandangan Prof itu seperti apa? Saya ingin sekali mendengarkan gitu. Masya Allah, udah lama banget kayak pengen ngobrol langsung Sampai hari ini aku juga jadi deg-degan sendiri.
Terima kasih,
Masya
terima
Allah.
kasih.
Iya, Prof. Alhamdulillah. Assalamualaikum. Makasih banyak ya, Prof, responnya.
Jadi kita berusaha merubah, ya memperbaiki. Paling kewajiban kita adalah menasehati, memberikan perubahan apa kepada orang yang kita anggap munafikun tadi. Karena kan mereka masih berwajah dua. Artinya ada wajah baiknya juga toh. Ada wajah baiknya. Ya. Nah, sekarang yang baiknya ini kita fokus. Jadi kita fokus ke yang baik ini. Kalau bisa kita arahkan, kita ubah. Kalau kita tidak bisa merubah, kita doakan supaya dia berubah. Kita mohon pertolongan Allah. Ya, kalau kita tidak bisa merubah, ya Allah yang akan merubah. Memang kalau memang dia tidak berubah, ya Allah memang menghendaki seperti itu, ya kita pasrahkan saja. Jadi jangan sampai kita menjadi satu beban bagi kita juga sendiri. Begitu ya sementara. Sampai ketemu lagi, Bu Vita. Salam untuk keluarga.
So facing the munafikin, which is having narcissist personality, we have to try to change them. We can pray to Allah to ask to change them, but also if we can't do that, how if we can't change? So we have to accept the reality and surrender to God like that. Okay, thank you, Professor Subandi. We will change to another question.
Oh, yeah. This is Professor Sulaiman Rin. Oh, this is problem with the computer.
Okay.
But,
Professor Sulaiman Darin will like to.
Yeah, let's see. Let's open your.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Mr. Subandi. How are you? MashaAllah.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, for joining this session.
Yes, I love this presentation. It's really beautiful. MashaAllah, you covered everything from Quran and the lives of Sahaba. I want to add one thing about this fatigue. When we give therapy to people, we might get some fatigue. The best solution, in my opinion, is to have very good and resilient friends around you. Go and visit them, have some tea and coffee with them. We nourish each other, spiritually. So a good circle, a pious circle, is very good help. Concerning munafiqeen, I think most munafiqeen are narcissist people. And there are a lot of videos in YouTube and in the Western culture to put boundaries to narcissist people. I think Islamically, sometimes we don't know whether someone is munafiq or narcissist, for sure, So we should be a little bit careful, because in the Holy Quran, Allah says to Moses, alayhi salam, go and talk to Pharaoh softly. So cutting off the relationship, putting high walls around us, like the Englishmen say, there's a proverb in English, every Englishman's house is his castle. So we shouldn't build castles around us. As Muslims, we should be, easygoing and sincere people. I don't like this phrase of putting boundaries around us. This is especially in the Western psychology. They put boundaries to their husbands, to their wives, to their relatives, even to their parents. In Islam, it is very difficult to advise people to put boundaries. So first thing, blaming someone as a munafiq is not very easy. If we open this door, because the Prophet ﷺ treated everyone as a Muslim when they said La ilaha illallah. Of course, I am not saying we should be stupid and we should be cheated by the munafiq. As you said, we shouldn't be stung twice from the same hole. Yes. There are so many munafiq in countries now in Gaza. The West give weapons to Israel and they say, we want peace. They help Israel kill more Muslims. Yes, we should be very clever. But on the other hand, we should be also careful by labeling people as munafiq and narcissist. I think this is my contribution. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed this beautiful, presentation.
You also mentioned in the chat room that about Rumi. So can you explain that? So
Well, I love Rumi.
This.
I love Rumi because Rumi says you can reach a believer's body, you can harm a believer's body, but you can never reach his heart. As we have seen this film of Bilal Habeshi radiallahu anh, they were torturing him. They 100% possess his body. They could kill him, they could cut off his limbs, but they couldn't reach his heart. They couldn't break his resilience. So, as you said, Ustaz Subandi, spiritual psychology, when we reach nafs mutmainna, we become so much peace with Allah. Whatever happens to us never affects our heart or spiritual states. You know, I also advise dear people here that we should read the stories of the prophets. As you said, Yusuf alayhi salam, in the chapter he says, "La ya'su min rahmatillah illa al-qawmul kafirun." Only disbelievers, you know, lose their hopes from God. As Muslims, we are so lucky. We have the Quran and Sunnah and the lives of prophets in the Holy Quran. We never lose our hope under any condition, whatever is the situation. Like in Gaza now, we see these beautiful video films you showed us that everyone is hopeful. No one is committing a suicide. You know, I was in Germany. There was a professor from Sweden or Finland. I don't remember now, long years before. I asked her, "Are you coming to next symposium next year in Istanbul?" She said, "If I don't commit suicide, I will come." I said, "What's wrong with you? Do you have a problem? You know, are you sick? Are you bankrupt? Can I help you?" She said, "No, we are very rich. Everything's okay in Finland. We have gas and money everywhere. But the trouble is, in long winter nights, we get bored. We have no family, of course. Then out of this boredom, we commit suicide. Look, these people, how their resilience so weak. When they feel bored, they commit suicide. And she's a professor, very well educated person. And look at the Muslims, illiterate Muslims in Gaza, under these bombs, they are so strong. So when we make our faith yaqini, iman, and zikr and mindfulness, which is muhasaba or muraqaba, Allah give us so much power into our heart. No bombs, no planes, no jets, fighter jets can beat our resilience, alhamdulillah. So I strongly advise the people here to read Rumi. And I am preparing a book now on the emotions of, in Rumi, how to treat emotions. And I also thank Professor Subandi. We have written an article about Ghazali and, comparing the DSM-5 with Ghazali's vices. It was really beautiful. Hope we can continue this job with you, Ustaz, about also virtues, fada'il, sabr, patience, tawakkul, love of God. Inshallah, we can do that. Thank you very much, really.
Assalamualaikum, Professor Sulaiman. May I add? If from the depression side, I mean the left side of the people with the abuse of maybe munafiqin of the narcissistic type, that kind of person. I mean, they have so many faces, and some people are having maybe depression or deep hurt. So how Islam see that kind that I really want to listen to your perspective, inshallah. So we have to protect this left side. I mean, this I mean, soft-hearted people, too soft-hearted people. I hope you understand that. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum. So happy to see you. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Alhamdulillah.
Can you answer this question, Ustaz Subandi? Do you permit me?
Yes, please, Professor Sulaiman. Maybe Professor Sulaiman Darin and Professor Subandi can enlarge our perspective about that for this last question, please.
I advise you. Yes, I advise you to read Ihya Ulumuddin al-Ghazali. Abul Kibir, Kitab al-Ujub. He's making a beautiful analysis and tricks of the munafiqin. So we should learn their tricks, They cheat you. And Ghazali says the worst sin is kibr. The worst sin is narcissism. Because being narcissist, you think you are the best. Everyone is lowly. So you should, rule them. You should make judgments on them. So you can commit any sin towards other people when you are a narcissist. Therefore, when we read Ghazali and Rumi, and especially Kitab al-Kibr wal-Ujub in Ihya Ulumuddin, you will learn their characteristics. When you learn their characteristics, then it is easy to defend yourself. So, for example, you don't believe whatever they tell you. You always check the information they tell you. If someone tells me I love you, for example, because my PhD is on divine love, I ask, what kind of love is it? Is it like a narcissistic love? Do you love me for yourself or for myself? Is it interested love, disinterested love? So I starting analyzing my friends' claim to love, and they say, okay, stop, we don't want no more, analysis. So we learn the characteristics of munafiqeen. They lie to you, they try to cheat you. So you always put some, barriers so as not to get harmed by their lies, also by their praise, also by their insults. When you reach a perfection in your heart, if someone insults you, you won't get affected, because Allah loves you. That's more important than people praise you or hate you. So I think spirituality is very important. Also, you have really a very narcissistic person in your life. Maybe if in a marriage, sometimes divorces might be a solution. I don't advise this. I rarely advise this, but if the person, your husband or wife is really, really very narcissist, only looking after himself or herself, divorce even might be a solution. So, Islam is sometimes advising divorce or cutting off relationship with your neighbor or with your colleague. Also, Allah says in the Holy Quran, "Ve'ardullahi wasi'ah." You can change places. If you have a narcissist boss, you can have another job, So I think my advice is you can use this cutting off in a very limited sense. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Allah tabarakallah. Insightful, very, very mashallah. Jazakallahu khairan, Professor.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Very insightful answer. Maybe there's one close statement from Professor Subandi before we close this session.
Yeah, there are some comment on the chat room, but I think, again, thank you very much, Professor Terin. Yeah, it's
You're
really
welcome, sir.
a good time to discuss again with you. Like 2 years ago, we discussed it in Istanbul, in your university. So I think for us as a Muslim, we should really commit to our belief, our faith to Allah, by practicing all of the ibadah, both the obligatory and unobligatory ritual, like the salah and salah 5 times a day, and the night prayer, the salat tahajjud, and fasting. It make us become a strong person. Yeah, become a very resilient, become very optimistic. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for all presentation session. And ladies and gentlemen, finally we come to the end of the session. We would like to say that thank you again for Professor Subandi and also Professor Sulaiman Darin, and also all of the participants for the informative, insightful presentation and also question. And hopefully the presentation will be beneficial for everybody. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
I will give
Waalaikumsalam. Mashallah.
Masya Allah. Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much.
See you in Yogyakarta soon, Ustaz Subandi.
Yeah, look forward to meeting you.
Thank you. I will be in October with you,
Thank
inshallah.
you. Inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, both
Thank
Professor
you,
Sulaiman and Professor Subandi.
everyone. Baby Jan,
Yeah, we
thank
see you, inshallah, in October.
Yeah, see you
Inshallah.
all in October in
Yes,
Jakarta.
inshallah. Love your
Bye.
presentation. I think we need to go deeper, deep dive, deeper.
Yes, more discussion. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, we should.
Assalamualaikum.
Goodbye to everyone from Istanbul. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you. Sorry, I have to leave. Assalamualaikum.
Professor Subandi, thank you for all participants.
Okay, thank you.
For MC, please, if you would like to close the session.
Okay, thank you so much and jazakumullah khairan for the insightful materials from Professor Subandi, Professor Sulaiman Darin, and Mrs. Nita. And thank you for leading the session. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally arrived at the end of the session. Before we end in this session, we would like to remind all participants to fill in the Google Form link provided by the committee as your feedback for this session in the chat room. On behalf of the committee, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to today's speakers and everyone who has joined us here in the 6th International Intensive Course of Islamic Psychology. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to inform you that our next agenda in 8th session tomorrow will be conducted with the same Zoom link at 9 a.m. and tomorrow we will have an insightful session with Dr. Fuad Nasori from Universitas Islam Indonesia as our speaker. Once again, I would like to extend our most profound appreciation to you all for your participation. We wish you all health and happiness so we can follow the next event smoothly. See you in the next session. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you.